not a part of a paranormal group. I am an individual entity. I like to call myself a free agent. So I can go where I want, with who I want, when I want, and no one can tell me no. I have been investigating. It's kind of a loaded question for me because I've always been interested in the paranormal. When I was little, I did my own little scientific experiments to try to figure out what was going on at the house that I lived in. But as for investigating, as an adult, I've been doing this for about 5 years now. Well, I've actually had experiences my whole life. I lived in an old farmhouse that was haunted, and I knew it wasn't right. Something was not normal, and I wanted to figure out what exactly I was dealing with. Then over the years, loss, when you lose a family member or a loved one or friends even, you want to know the answers. You want to know what happens, where are they, and where am I going to go? What is there? So that also strikes, I had a big loss. My fiance died, and it really kind of threw me right back into the paranormal. Well, I went on a Midwest tour. Dave Spinks and I went on a Midwest tour. So we went to 3 different locations in Indiana. I'm in Maryland, he's in West Virginia, so for us to go to Indiana, it's not exactly around the corner. So we went to 3 haunted locations in 3 days, and I can honestly say the second location, I've never had something like this happen before. I don't even really remember investigating it. I'm always very outgoing, very bubbly. Like, actually, that I'm sitting still right this second is kind of like a shock and amazement for me, because I'm always moving, I'm bouncing around, I've got ADHD, I'm everywhere. So for me to be at a location, especially because, the adrenaline gets pumping when you're going on an investigation. You get there, you're all excited. And I got there, and all of a sudden, I just seemed to have zoned out. We actually were streaming this live on the internet, and people were watching, and they were sending messages, something's not right with Niki, something's wrong. And actually, I was slurring my words, and I was falling asleep, which is not me. Not me at all. I never sleep. That experience, I didn't really get to investigate the location as I would have normally done, because of whatever affected me, but I want to go back because I want to see, well, A, if it happens again, but also, to document this place, because the place that we went was the Monroe House, and this is one of the well-known locations that, I think everyone who has gone there has gotten, incredible evidence, and, I want to go, I want to do that, and I did go. But I feel like I didn't have the chance to investigate properly, and I still don't know what affected me. So again, I'm still seeking answers. Even going on my investigations continues adding to the list of, questions that I want to answer. So that was different. Oh boy. I made a list the other day of just places that I've gone this year. And just this year, I think I was at 30 locations. I go every weekend on an investigation pretty much. I think maybe there's like 1 or 2 here and there that I haven't gone on an investigation. And they're always out of state. They're never around the corner, which is really funny. They're always in another state. So I'm constantly, tacking miles in my car and, driving to another state. Or even flying. I've actually flown in for investigations before. And, each location has just been its own awesome experience, So I've been really lucky to get a chance to go. And some weekends when I'm going away, I get to go to more than 1 investigation. So that's always, a lot of fun. And I just, like this last weekend, I just went on two different locations in 2 different states. And, it was good fun, so Aren't we all? Yeah, exactly. I like to use ghostboxapps.com apps. I like to use the Ghostbox One, which is one of those apps created by Anthony Sanchez. I also like to use the Echo Box by Danny. I use my, my Mel meter and REM pods and, all the standard equipment. I don't really use a K2, just because my Mel meter's got pretty much a whole bunch of different gamuts of measuring tools and things of that sort. Right, exactly. So, I like to run the apps. I like to do EBP. I set up my camcorders, of course, and set up my digital recorders all over the place. But I can honestly say I've captured visual evidence, at least to me, and that's where I think a lot of people get clouded or jaded in the paranormal field, because everybody has their, whether or not this is actually evidence or not. No, I'm not an orb girl, so I'm not going to chase any orbs around, and if I capture orbs on something, I usually am able to rule those out. Actually, I am able to rule them out because I've never had, grandma's head in an orb before, but I use a lot of the apps to try to communicate and give the spirits a better way to talk to us, if you will. For me, I guess it's the hunt itself, because it's that excitement that you get when you're going into a location. You don't know what you're going to be dealing with, or what, if anything. You might just be bored for however many hours you're going to go sit there. It's hard for me to review evidence, I'll admit. I run a medical practice for a living, so between that and my children, trying to find quiet time to review my evidence is getting increasingly more difficult. But of course, I like to review it, but I like almost more so when somebody can pinpoint the areas to pay more attention to. But I love every aspect of it. You have to like it all, otherwise it's just going to fall apart, because you can go on all these investigations you want. If you don't review your evidence, then what was the point, so yeah. I had one situation where I can honestly say, before this, I was never scared. I've gone to some really creepy locations, whether it be with a public group or even with a private group for like documentaries and such, or even just for my own personal interest in going. And I had never had a situation where I thought that I was in harm's way. The incident at the Monroe house, I really don't know what that was. So I didn't even classify that to me as scary, really, because I don't even understand it. But I went to the Masonic 1897 in Newport, Kentucky, and at this location, it was just incredibly dark and negative. And I went with Dave Spinks from Dave Spinks Paranormal Investigation, CRPI, as well as Cindy Harper from FemForce. So the three of us, and we're like three independents, so here are the three independent free agents running into this haunted location, and we're standing there, we're running sessions. We were using the Echo Box perhaps at the time, and running our camcorders and everything else, and had REM pods all set up. And all of a sudden, I saw out of the corner of my eye something come rushing into my line of vision, and it wasn't coming toward me, it was actually going toward Dave Spinks. And when I saw what it was, it looked to me like it was a mixture between a man and an animal. But obviously, it's not like I saw it like I'm seeing you and I. But I saw it coming at him, and I think for me that was the most scared I've ever been, because I've never been scared. So I guess that was scared, because I saw it coming at him, and there was really nothing I could do. So I jumped back and I said, what was that? I probably said something else too, but jumped back and said, what was that? And you could hear the fear in my voice when I said it. And he looks up and he felt like a gust of wind, like something moving toward him. And when he did, it screamed in his ear. So, like, he felt it coming toward him. I saw it coming toward him. And it's almost like, I guess the only way I can describe it is watching somebody get hit by a bus, okay? Because you see it coming, and you're like, no, 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 and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And that scared me because it was, it wasn't me that it was coming at. It was coming at someone else, and there's nothing I could do about it. And that was scary. But other than that, that's my only scared experience or thought that anybody could be in harm's way. I didn't think it was going to, like, go get him and then turn around and come get me. So, and even if it did, I'm more concerned for the welfare of others than myself. Always, for some reason. So, like, the mama in me, I guess. Make sure everybody else is safe first. And that was the only time I've ever been scared. Don't believe what you saw on TV. That is not really how you do an investigation. Prepare to be incredibly bored for many, 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 many hours. It's not like TV where you go in and you can go provoke and be all whatever and wear your black t-shirt and then, within an hour you're going to have awesome evidence, because that's not the case. So don't believe what you've seen on TV. Get with a group that has experience, that is willing to allow you to come in with them. Don't go by yourself and, think that you can handle everything. Read up on everything, educate yourself, and don't go by yourself. That's my words of wisdom. Well, spirit boxes I think are great. I think they're absolutely fantastic. I really, 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 really wish I could get my hands on a Frank's box. Frank Sumption was, just a remarkable band, and we in the paranormal world as well as the world in general lost a really fantastic band this year. He was just absolutely fantastic. His box. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to use one, but it's incredible. Exactly. It's absolutely incredible. I personally don't own one. I would love to get my hands on one, but, I think they're great. And I think that there are some that could possibly not be what we think that they are. I mean, because I don't know. I don't know what we're communicating with when we're using them. I'm not going to sit here and 100% say that I know who I'm talking to when I'm using one of these. None of us really can, But I think it's fascinating and fantastic, and I think it's as close as we are going to get at this point to do so. Now, Ouija boards, I personally I don't use them on investigations. I don't take them with me and go into somebody's house and, sit down and break out my Ouija board. But I have, and when I was little, I went before church, we went to Walmart, and we're looking around, I saw this fortune-telling game, and I was all excited, and I said, Mom, can I buy it? She goes, sure. So we bought it, and I took it with me to church. But I didn't just leave it in the car. I took it into church. I didn't know any better. I didn't know that it was like Satan's tool and, all this other stuff. So I actually brought mine into church, unknowing of what, everybody's feelings on the Ouija board were, even back then. So I like to say I have a blessed Ouija board, perhaps. Maybe that's why my views on them aren't I don't run the other direction. But on the other hand, I'm not going to use one in somebody's house on an investigation. I mean, to me, it's a game. Yes, you're telling something to communicate and use your body to communicate. But we're also attempting to communicate by running spirit boxes. So it's everybody's got their views. I'm not going to go pull one out. It's much easier to carry my spirit box or my phone with my Echo Vox on it than it is to carry my Parker Brothers Ouija board. But to each his own. Honestly, my theory is that they're you die. You have to go somewhere. I think there are some that have unfinished business and are, coming back to perhaps finish that business. There are some that maybe died tragically and haven't realized that they passed, or they are not able to come to terms with it. And maybe there's just some that, have like a travel card or something where they can just go, wherever, and then come down here and visit us, and when we need them or something, and then zoom back up. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know, because I don't. That's part of my question. That's part of the answers I've been trying to figure out forever. I think everybody, like you said, everyone has their theories. Mine's kind of, I don't really know. I think that they exist. Otherwise I'd be wasting a whole lot of time and money and gas and everything else seeking, Casper, my imaginary ghost friend. I like to think I'm communicating with something, and that my weekends aren't wasted, and that, basically every night of my life other than my job is dedicated to the paranormal. So I'd like to think I'm not wasting my entire life away. But I probably won't know till I'm dead, let's be honest, because, I don't think, unless I can sit down and interview an entity, and people still wouldn't believe that, so it's not like the only person I can work on answering questions for, I guess, is myself. And, and that's the same for everybody, so I don't know. I would say no. I do think that when I review, if someone puts their evidence out there and I review it, I do look at evidence, or I look at everything with, I guess my point of view is a little weird. Because I'm in the medical field, I have a scientific approach, and I kind of guess I was raised with, viewing things with a scientific type of approach. I'm not going to immediately go, oh, that's a ghost, or ooh, that's a demon, because that's not me. If it can be ruled out as something else, then I'm probably going to rule it out, Just like orbs, I'm probably going to call it dust, or water particles or something, gaseous air, I don't know. But yeah, I believe in the paranormal, and I just, have those scientific goggles, I guess, that I look through when I'm reviewing stuff. Sure. I actually do a few different radio shows on liveparanormal.com. Tonight I have at 10 p.m., which is Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have Live Paranormal Spotlight Radio. I also produce a bunch of shows on the network. I also do the Paranormal Icon, which is a few hours on Friday evenings. Awesome, interesting stuff we talk about. I'm also working on projects for Live Paranormal TV. And I also have a project that I'm working on, which is filming for a show, and that hopefully will get picked up. Fingers crossed, aren't we all? But, hopefully that'll get picked up, but we've been working really hard on it, and I've been working on that with Cindy Harper from FemForce. So, I've got lots of stuff going on. I have a documentary that I worked on that'll be out in June. So I try to keep as into the paranormal as I possibly can be.
What are